that's learned a lot more about credit, everything, right? So now you're primed with a pool of entrepreneurs that at no time has been more primed to go into an era. And with that said, that kind of flows into tech infrastructure. And so if you think about what got us out of the Great Depression, it was basically the internet, right? And the internet at the time, 2008, 2009, 10, 12, 11-ish, a little bit more into 13, 14, it was still early, right? So early, I mean, I don't mean like AOL early. I mean that broadband wasn't steadily available. Data via mobile and using your phone on the internet wasn't available, right? So, or it was available, but it was not. It was very infancy stage and very rough. And so not everybody had it like today. And so there was no real social media. Social media, of course, yes, existed, but it wasn't what it is today. There was no levels to social media. The way you can create stuff, the how fast you can create it, the quality of it, the video, the recording, the cameras, the mobile the data access, everything. The more broadband that went into the houses, it went from CDs to streaming. And like streaming, nobody even thought about it in 2008, 2009. Like nobody thought that would be the thing to do. Like nobody thought about Fang, Facebook. Nobody thought like, oh, Facebook's going to be like, you have to use it. And no, at the time it was all college kids and people didn't think you had to use it, or IG. And now it's more people spend on it per day than at work. You know what I mean? Like it's all that wasn't fathomable and imaginable at the time because the internet was still in a phase where it wasn't, the utility was still being discovered on. And so when it was discovered, which was right around the time when we started pulling out of the Great Recession, so that's what created the pulled us out, right? So you need a tech infrastructure that reaches a certain stage. So um, with that said, it's AI. So now AI is getting to the point where it's becoming utility, right? So a few years ago, AI was just something people were, joking about Terminators and stuff coming around, Skynet. What if things are robots? Like you started seeing a little bit of robots doing different simple tasks and stuff like that, walking dogs and stuff. But AI now is to a point where you can train it. You can do a whole bunch of different things to it. It's becoming there. Things are becoming more open source. Generative AI is taking on a whole new level. It's learning more and more and more, and these models are getting more complex with layers of even technology and infrastructure that people don't even understand, like the neural networks of brains. People still can't can't define, right? So like you can see what brain has the most activity when you do certain things, right? Left brain, right brain, front, back. Like this is for your creativeness. This is for speaking. Like this is motor function. But you can't. Nobody can define how exactly memory works, how recollection of memory works, how people can do memory with experience, with being able to see into the future, right, and creating a vision and putting it all together. Like, what about the neural networks work in that fashion? That's undefinable. Nobody has been able to figure it out. AI is taking on a very similar stage phase, and it's getting pretty good. But anyways, not to jump way ahead, but anyways, utility. So it's basically the more it's becoming available, the more utility, and yeah, it's going to drive the next thing because I can't tell you, just like we couldn't tell you Netflix was going to become streaming. I can't tell you um, what utilities are available or what's next. I can just tell you like what's going on today, but even things that we can do today was unimaginable even 4 months ago with AI. So, and this is just Chat GPT and Midjourney and all this stuff. Like a year, two, three, four, five, it's no telling what the utility is going to be on it. So, but it's going to open up a whole gateway of big ass companies, big, strong, very innovative, very useful, very helpful, a lot of fucking valuable companies that's putting out a shitload of value in the world. And it could be some of the companies that exist today, but it's going to be some new companies that pop up, and it's just going to create another fucking big old boom with this capital. So, yeah. capital, not just capital, but human capital, brainwork capital, knowledge capital, experience capital, all this stuff that we've never ever seen ever in fucking history. Like $2 trillion worth of fucking just free capital, like mental abstractional capital. Like we've never ever seen this scenario ever, except yeah, a long, long, long time ago. Precursor of World War III. I don't want to get too deep into it, but basically before every world war, right? Because everybody's calling for a world war to start here in the next 4 or 5 years. It's not. The draft is nowhere near. There's no. The world powers has to be up for grabs in order for a world war to happen. So what I can tell you is that there's a precursor to it. What I can tell you is that there's a precursor, and a precursor is usually wars or regional wars that happen between smaller countries that rile up the entire world and start creating stronger allies, stronger connections within different alliances. And what have we seen? People are picking more sides. It's become more polarizing every single fucking year. And COVID's kicked it off. And it's gotten worse, worse, worse. Ukraine and Russia. And then now with Israel and Gaza, or Hamas, rather, because Hamas is actually the people that did some crazy shit. But Israel's doing crazy shit to the innocent people of Gaza too. It's just sad all around. But it's things like that that precursor every fucking world war. But again, there's not going to be a world war until world power and superpowers, mainly dealing around economy and currency, is up for grabs. And so that's going to be up for grabs when the Great Depression after the Roaring Twenties happens for us. And when our economy is down really, really fucking badly, in the Great Depression, where money and stimmy and all that stuff doesn't work like it did this past time, we're gonna be hurting, and that's when the world power is going to be up for grabs. That's when the U.S. dollar is going to be weak. That's when you probably want to get into crypto and shit like that. But and if you ever think about a reason why Bitcoin would hit $1 million, you need a really good fucking valid reason why it should. That's going to be your fundamental analysis on why it should become a fucking $1 million. Is when the superpowers of the world are at war with each other at each other's necks, and you don't know what currency is going to win, except the most decentralized one. That's the reason it'll go to a milli. Anyways, so but that'll be a while from now. Anyways, and who knows if it's gonna be Bitcoin? It's gonna be something though, something decentralized around the blockchain. There's a bunch of other precursors. The race war, of course, the race wars has started because of the regional wars and shit like that. But it's always been a race war between, and it's always technology that isn't available, right? So we're thinking right now we're just like hypersonic missiles and nuclear. No, that's probably not it. So whenever there's a world war, there's always some kind of technological advance that the winner has, whether that's a nuclear bomb or hypersonic missiles that are launched from space that you can't even fucking stop because it's faster than fucking lightning. Or you need a defense mechanism that can stop missiles and other things shot at satellite systems of entire countries, and or AI driven robots and terminators and planes and UAVs and shit like that. Um, all of that stuff. So who knows where we're gonna go? Because I can't even tell you what AI is gonna do in the next 4 months. And you know the military's using it, so they're very keeping a very eyeful watch on it. So I don't know what this next weapon is, but the arms race has started, has begun for quite a while. Kick-started by Ukraine, which was inevitable to happen, which is an inevitable event that happens before an inevitable world war. Anyways, so we know the war's coming, we know the infrastructure and capital, we know health, wealth gap, everything molds and fits into a roaring 20. So that's it. How long is this video? Damn, 20 minutes. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. Very macro. I might come up with some smaller stuff that I have, but maybe like more less macro stuff in the next few years. So all I got, I do want to put this and document this and put this into video. So anyways, deuces.